Paula Quinsee is one of Johannesburg's most respected relationship experts and life coaches. But it's only after suffering her own relationship turmoil that this former corporate executive discovered her life's purpose.
My journey into coaching started in 2006. I was in a relationship at the time, 6.5 years, that had hit rock bottom. So at the time of our relationship falling apart, I was working full-time and I was studying for my degree part-time. And my life was really revolving around work and studies. And over time, we started living separate lives. I wasn't meeting his needs, he wasn't meeting my needs. So we just started drifting apart, and eventually our relationship ended up in a very negative spiral. And we were constantly fighting, we were disconnected, we just weren't on the same page anymore. And we were going for therapy, and it was our therapist that referred us to Imago Relationship Therapy. So we went away on this couple's weekend retreat, and I was really just blown away at the impact that Imago had on me, helping me understand so much about myself, about my past, in terms of my upbringing and how that had influenced my perspective on the world, not to mention the string of failed relationships that I'd had behind me. So the therapy didn't work for us in terms of saving our relationship. It had gone too far down there was too much water under the bridge for us, and I was busy blaming my partner for everything that had gone wrong. So we'd reached a stalemate in our relationship where we felt that there was no way forward for us, and we decided to end our relationship. And I had to take accountability for my contribution to our relationship falling apart. Outside of that, I then started doing individual work and individual therapy, which helped me navigate through that relationship that had ended and to become more evolved and more wholesome within myself so that I could carry that into my future relationships. So my journey into coaching started in 2009, and I just wanted to help other people and get them to experience what I had experienced from Imago Relationship Therapy, because it's just had such a profound impact on my life. Imago Relationship Therapy is really about understanding how our primary caregivers shape and influence us into sort of the blueprint that we have on the world and how we see the world through our own eyes and how we forge relationships with other people. So our primary caregivers in most instances is our mother and our father, but in other instances or cultures or traditions, it may be aunties or uncles or elders, or even a step-parent. And it's whoever plays a primary role in our upbringing shapes and influences us, and we take on board both their positive and their negative character traits. And that kind of shapes our behavioral traits and how we forge relationships with other people. So I have combined my skills from an Imago Relationship Therapy perspective as well as an NLP practitioner, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And I've sort of formed my own, I suppose, technique or style of coaching. But the foundation is probably formed around Imago Relationship Therapy as a primary modality. So I work with relationships, starting with relationship with self, because it always comes back to self. And then relationship in your personal life with your family or your partner or your children. And in the workplace, it's to do with relationships in the workplace. So for example, people dynamics, team dynamics, leadership traits, mentorship traits, corporate culture. It's all about relationships at the end of the day.
Today, Paula is in a healthy romantic relationship with the love of her life, which not too long ago was something she never thought was possible.
So they say that when you don't look for love, love arrives on your doorstep, and that was literally what happened in my life. My partner and I met, we were literally neighbors, and we have a common interest in terms of we're both very sporty and active. So we started going to the gym together and we started running together, and through that common ground, we then obviously our relationship blossomed into a more romantic relationship. We've also learned how to manage conflict in our relationship, in that if there's something that we feel we're unhappy with, we have the maturity to sit down and talk about it and discuss it and find a way forward for both of us.
Paula is also the author of the book Embracing Conflict, an easy-to-read self-help guide filled with practical exercises and tools for personal growth and development.
My book is called Embracing Conflict, and it really is around understanding that conflict isn't necessarily a negative or a bad thing, and that we should actually be curious about conflict, because conflict is growth trying to happen. We're being pushed out of our comfort zones, and we don't really like that. It doesn't feel nice. So a lot of the times we tend to avoid conflict, when in actual fact we can learn so much through conflict. For me, conflict comes in all sorts of shapes and forms and sizes, starting with self. When you're at a crossroad in your own life and you're not sure what decision or path to make, that's inner turmoil, that's conflict. When it's with your partner in your relationship and you're having a fight or a disagreement, that's conflict. It's really about understanding your own emotional triggers first and foremost, by understanding where you're at in your head. Are you thinking about things positively or negatively? Where are you at in your body from an emotional level? And then how do you use that information to manage your own emotional state in terms of how you're impacting others, and then how you are allowing others to impact you? So we always have a choice in every situation. And in every situation, there's always one common denominator, and that is you. So how do you be cognizant of what you are doing to contribute to the space around you and the environment around you, and use that information to manage yourself, your emotional state, your frame of reference, so that you have a more positive outcome. I do believe that majority of relationships can be saved or resolved if both partners are willing to work at it and find a way forward. Where there is any form of abuse, whether it be physical, emotional, sexual, mental abuse, absolutely personal safety comes first. And so in those instances, I would say take care of your own safety first and walk away from that. But in most instances, it really does boil down to communication and how you are willing to work together and resolve issues in your marriage or your relationship, so that you both feel like you're benefiting and you both feel like your needs are being met. Sometimes we get so stuck in the emotion of a situation that we can't see a way forward, and it helps to have an outside person give you perspective from both sides and help you understand and find a middle ground so that you can move forward together. And I think often couples leave it until it's too late and almost the damage has been done. And then it's a lot harder to work with that in terms of forgiveness and letting go and willing to leave the past behind and walk forward together. And there's a lot of healing that has to take place. And it can be done, but it really boils down to the commitment level of the couple and the work that they are willing to do to get to that place.